and welcome back to Invincible Asia. I'm George from Movie Misfit, and today I'm going to check out the US Blu-ray release of Donnie Yen's Enter the Fat Dragon. So, although this has been out for a couple of years now, I have never gotten around to seeing it. I've never gotten around to getting my hands on it until this last week or two, where I managed to find it on eBay for a decent enough price and get it imported from the States. I'm quite surprised, to be honest, that I know Well Go USA have worked in conjunction with Cine Asia and things like that to release some of their titles here in the UK and Ireland, and I'm quite shocked that Enter the Fat Dragon has not been one of those titles. Obviously Donnie has kind of taken over as the king of Hong Kong action cinema, which is wonderful. And being such a modern action comedy, I kind of expected this one to hit the shelves here in the UK. Well, it still hasn't. I was going to say a lot sooner, but it still hasn't, which is unfortunate. So I had to import it, of course, and I've been dying to see this movie for some time. Obviously the COVID years kind of distracted from a lot of things, but I had always had my eye on getting this, which I was so excited for. So while the cover actually looks a little beat up and is starting to peel away, this was a brand new release. I have watched it already. I did open the plastic, so the Blu-ray did come wrapped, which was nice. The cover, the sleeve, the O-ring does look a little battered, but that's fine. It was reasonable enough, and I have to say it definitely was a fantastic movie. I've watched it twice since, and I will be reviewing it for the website very, very soon. So directed by Kenji Tanigaki, who was a Japanese stunt player who starred in some Japanese television shows, went over to Hong Kong in the kind of mid-90s, did some roles in the likes of, for example, Jet Li's Fist of Legend, the wonderful Fist of Legend, which I can't wait to see on Blu-ray hopefully someday soon, and went on to join Donnie Yen for Legend of the Wolf, his directorial debut, sticking with him for Ballistic Kiss, Shanghai Fire, and moving on with Donnie Yen and his team from there on, as well as doing many more of his own things there. But this Enter the Fat Dragon is the directorial debut of Kenji, and it is a lot of fun. Produced by Wong Jing and also starring Wong Jing, who his role as Thor initially, as far as I'm aware, was kind of hoping to have Sammo Hung cast in it, which would have been amazing. Seeing Sammo and Donnie side by side again after SPL, but also in an action comedy this time would have been brilliant. But that was not to be, and Wong Jing stepped into the role himself, which works quite well. I love Wong Jing. I'm a huge fan of Wong Jing as a filmmaker, but also seeing him on screen, I think he's just a hoot and he's an absolute tit. But yes, it really works well. But Donnie, I love seeing Donnie in action comedies. I think Donnie has great ability for comic timing. When you look at Drunken Tai Chi, Mismatched Couples, of course, his comedy is brilliant, and I think everyone's got used to him being such a serious actor over the last 20, 25, 30 years that we kind of forget that he can do those kind of things. Although he's appeared in some comedies and cameoed in some comedies, to see him in this kind of role excites me, and I kind of want to see more. Now, this film itself isn't actually a remake of Sammo Hung's classic Enter the Fat Dragon from the late 70s. And to be honest, I have to say, there wasn't a lot of, let's say, like Sammo Hung's movie, there wasn't a lot of connection to Bruce Lee, to be honest. There's no jumpsuit, which would have been nice to see him wearing. There are moments when Donnie's character is watching Bruce Lee movies, and there is lots of remixes of Bruce Lee scores throughout, but there's never really a connection as such, much like what Sammo Hung brought to his own movie at the time. Now, with the storyline and with that, I would have said that Way of the Fat Dragon may have been a better title for this as opposed to Enter the Fat Dragon. That would have stopped any confusion as it to it being seen as a remake of Sammo Hung's movie. But yeah, I mean, there was for me, there was no real connection to Bruce Lee. There was a bit of a lack of that. Also, I have to say that there was not so much a lack of fat jokes, but the sort of the fatness. Donnie in a fat suit, there was never really, it never touched base on that kind of comedy element of what they could have done with it. There was no offense of him being fat. There was no kind of, it just happened. It just sort of happened to be his character went from being this super cop to being a fat super cop, but nothing was really ever said about it, made fun of, or joked about. So whether that was a lost thing, I'm not too sure. But I had nothing to compare this to. As I say, I've watched it already. The quality of the DVD is as expected. It is one of the more modern movies I've picked up recently on Blu-ray. I didn't say DVD there, Blu-ray. So the quality is amazing. It looks stunning. Welgo, though, I have to say, I'm disappointed with the release because they really didn't put anything on there. There's maybe a trailer or two, is that, if I can remember correctly, a trailer or two. That's about it. There's no making of. I really would have loved to have seen the making of. I would have loved to have seen Donnie getting into makeup. There is, in the end credits, you see some of that going on, but there's no actual featurettes or behind the scenes documentaries, no blooper reels, anything like that, which is unfortunate because it looked like a hell of a fun movie. There's a great cast in there. The wonderful Theresa Moe is also in there, but it's just a lot of fun. But definitely well worth getting, and I hope that someday soon Cine Asia or 88 or someone is going to pick this up here for the UK and give it a proper release, a decent release, because I think it is worth it. Yeah, it's nice to see, as I say, Donnie doing something a little different. There is flashbacks to scenes from Flashpoint and SPL, which is quite cool. It's quite funny, where Philip actually cameos as Wu Jing in that SPL alley fight, just for a split second, but it works and it is fun. But yes, all in all, I think Kenji and Donnie and the team have done an amazing job with Enter the Fat Dragon. For me, it's a 4-star movie. There could have been some other elements of it there to shake it up, but it does keep things going. It does keep you watching. It's entertaining. There are some big elements there, but it's very comic book in style. Both with the action and with that massive finale on the Tokyo Tower. It's a lot of fun, great fun actually. But yes, watched it twice in 1 week, didn't get bored of it. Will look forward to watching it again. And a lot of great stuff in there. But all in all, an okay release from Wilgo USA. I'm hoping that there is a better release out there somewhere, possibly its Hong Kong release will give you that option of seeing the making ofs or behind the scenes and interviews and whatnot. But yeah, so far though, does the trick. It's a region A only, so you will need a multi-regional player if you're ordering this from the States to be able to watch it here at home. But yeah, there we go. That's a wee bit different, that one, because I've already watched it. As I say, I've nothing to compare it to, but I'll just give you a quick look here at the cover again, because it is a pretty cool cover. And then on the back. So yeah, there's really nothing. I mean, nothing overly amazing about this release from Wilgo USA. I do have some other releases from Wilgo that have a lot more on offer and have a lot more going for it. And I kind of figured this being one of their more modern releases and later releases, they may have sort of packed it with a load of stuff, but in fact they've released a pretty basic collection, unfortunately, on there, and there's not much more. So I would, yes, maybe anything above 12 or 13 pound is probably a bit too much for it right now, and probably keep your eye out for its Hong Kong release and you might get more out of it. There we are. Anyway, another one done and dusted. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to invincibleasia.com, where you can check out as many full-length movie reviews of these movies that I could possibly put together. Let's see, what else can you do? You can also check out the rest of the videos on here, the unboxing and reviews, the show and tells, and of course the untold stories. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Invincible Asia and at Movie Misfit, where I will post some bullet reviews and other things that I simply cannot put to video. Anyway, thanks for watching. Until next time, enjoy Kung Fu, and I will see you soon.